Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's just going with it tonight.
What's that?
No sign.
No sign, just go.
Well, I was ready.
All right.
Yeah.
Don't touch. Karen's got it all arranged.
Should I start the checks right away or not?
Huh?
Should I start the checks or? Books are going away.
You both can sit right here if you'd like.
And I'll give these to John and Andy.
Sit up right up front row.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
Oh, good thought, sir.
All right. So if we open to the front page, this is our annual report. Our dedication is to Ken Christensen. This is his last book as the select board. He's been here for what, 15 years? How long have you been elected for?
9 years as selectman for
There you go. All right. So I'm going to read this. This is the dedication. Kenneth R. Christensen was born in Utica, New York in 1941. He comes from a large family, being the fourth of 10 children. Ken grew up in New York and entered the Air Force in 1958. He was stationed at Pease Air Base for a time, which brought him to New Hampshire, where he met his wife, Ellen. Ken and Ellen have been married for nearly 60 years. That'll be on June 17th.
Yep.
And went on to have 2 children, Frank and Joe Marie, and have 4 grandchildren. Ken retired from the Air Force in 1975 and built a career in the insurance industry, primarily focused on workmen's compensation. This position has had him traveling quite a bit, and he often jokes that he spent 13 nights at the airport in Pittsburgh.
And I wasn't going there.
He and Ellen moved to Brentwood in 1998. After retiring in 2004, Ken and Ellen initially spent much of their time volunteering at the Mary E. Bartlett Library. Ken served on the Municipal Budget Committee from 2007 to 2010, and as Brentwood's representative to the Technical Advisory Committee from 2012 to 2017. He also serves on the Southeast Regional Refuge Disposal District, Zoning Board of Adjustments, and most notably as the chairman of the Select Board, and we lovingly call him the King. Which he has been a member throughout the years from 2012 to present. During his time as Selectman, the town has seen tremendous change and growth. We have always thought of Ken as someone who truly cares about this town and the people in it. Ken continues to encourage residents to get involved in the town, and he will continue to be the strong support of the town and its employees. The town of Brentwood has been incredibly fortunate to have Ken's leadership, and he will be greatly missed.
Wow. Thank you so much.
And his bride is here.
Yeah. I thought you were here to cause trouble. They're both deaf. I thought you were here.
We're old.
You're old.
Yes.
I know one of you are.
Seasoned.
For the record, Mr. Chairman, I didn't know they were celebrities when I gave up my seat.
Bob is the chairman of the Conservation Commission, and we appreciate his kindness. There were other people that could have taken those chairs. We're gonna proceed with our meeting.
All right, I'm gonna do the checks. I'm just gonna do this first one. There's only
Would you
one.
like to be delivered home now?
Wouldn't that be nice? Yes.
It's her choice, I guess. You can stay or you can go. It's your choice.
She can't hear you.
They were both deaf.
It's just a victim of circumstance. All right, we're gonna move on. James Saltzman got $221.39.
We're in session, madam.
She can't hear you.
Wait till you get home.
That's when he remembers he was married 60 years.
Yes is part of my
There
vocabulary.
we go. Andrew Gray, 516.51. Jason Gagnon is 148.91. And Andrea Bickham is 631.43. Karen Clement is $1,101.98. Tamara Peak is 725.98. Daphne Wass is 714.51. Katie Coppola is $180.55. Shayla Gherkin is 52.64. Mary Lyons Hall is 155.14. Janice Weirs is 782.99. Kiki Donis Walls, 687.46. Joyce Keeble is 563.77. Kip Kaiser, 783.77. Thomas S. is 161.61. Katie Blazek Ahern is 830.77. Jeffrey Collins is 840.07. Wayne Robinson is 956.78. Joyce Gallant is 835.77. Joseph Bird is 933.63. John Bryant is 686.76. Evan Crafts is 257.97. Keith Culligan is 514.49. Alyssa Sanuski is 525.36. Alexander Hall is 188.30. Katrina Tennant is 795.20. Trevor Whitby is 703.19. Kendra Brackett is 235.08. Robert Gagnon is 245.88. Matt Kelly is 858.24. Kevin Nealon is 880.91. Kiara Norris is 321.36. Richard Sawyer is $1,740.14. Christopher Spitaleri is $1,265.02. Josh Turner is $583.12. Jeremy Worcester is $785.48. Jared Wright Ward is $933.02.
For a total of $23,123.79.
And a grand total of $23,345.18. We had 14 and a half hours of overtime in the PD, 1 hour in the fire department, and 18 hours in the highway department.
Is Joyce not going to? Okay.
Is this check?
Yes.
Looks like a
That
void.
was a
Void
void.
Oh, reissue 90-day limit, okay. So we got one void.
Double nice today? Yeah.
Ready? Aflac is $83.32. Airgas is $69.28. AT&T Mobility is $105.20. Block 5 Technology is $3,242.50. 125 Canvas and Upholstery is $425. Car Parts of New Hampshire, or of Epping, is $1.65. Casella Waste Systems is $28,639.53. Chapel Tractor Supplies is $25.84. County Tire and Alignment is $756. E&J Auto Parts, the second is $38.93. Eversource is $1,379.47. Exeter Hospital is $76.74. Firematic Supply Company is $1,380. Glacier Computer is $109.99. Mark Hannock is $49.65. Hartman Oil is $2,203.66. Joyce Kegel is $20 even. LCB Transport is $1,505.83. Leaf is $261. Ralph Mahoney and Sons $29.64. Mitchell Municipal is $865.77. Morton Salt is $9,163.08. Quadient Finance is $207, Seacoast Mills is $21.03, Seacoast Business Machines is $42.04, UniFirst Corporation is $61, Valak is $186.45, WB Mason is $134.27, Jeremy Worcester is $75.
A total of $51,158.87.
This is an appointment slip for Michelle Sudik for Conservation Commission for a term of 3 years.
Motion?
Second? Do we have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
I thought you were the second.
No, I was seeking one, sir.
Do you want to do this one too?
Yep.
There's an appointment slip for Jessica Valukas for the Local River Advisory Committee. That's been
Motion.
recommended by the Conservation Commission.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. Aye, sorry. Did we have any rec checks?
No rec checks.
Building permits. UNH Realty Trust, 388 Route 125 is a plumbing and electrical permit. So it's 2 toilets, 2 sinks, a water heater, and then installation of lights and outlets. D&H Realty Trust, 388 Route 125 is an additional plumbing permit for a common bathroom install. Biscotti Family Trust, 36 Long Meadow Drive, is an electric permit for heat pump and ductwork. And Wright Builders LLC, 35 Route 107 is for a new dwelling.
I'll make a motion for the minutes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion for non-public minutes.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Yep.
I have a memo from Jim Michaud to continue the educational exemption for painters and allied trades. They traditionally receive 95% exemption off of their assessment, and he would recommend that would continue after reviewing all of their documents.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then I have several land use change tax warrants and bills.
This is all the ones that are listed?
Yep.
So it's Scrabble Road for 16,000, 23 Route 107 for 12,500, 25 Route 107 for 12,500, Denson Properties, which is the condos on Holly Falls Road, there's 5 units there for a total of 39,250.
For a total of $80,250.
Yep.
Motion for all?
So what goes into these?
So these are land that is coming out of current use and being taxed. So this is just
Because they're
like-
built on it or something
So
like
they're
that?
developed.
Okay.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And who makes the determination on the amount?
Jim Michaud, the town contract assessor. There's a memo attached to each of them on the back, and I wanted to read the numbers and calculations and the parcels I used.
I can go back and look later.
This has got a page.
Double?
And then you got some, no, this one's gonna be 2, too.
Do we, do that?
Did I do double on all of them?
Yeah, they're all
There's
double.
two-
All
There's 2
double.
pages for each
All
of
right, so I
them.
only signed one, no, that's all right, that's all right, you're good. As long as you have 3, you're good.
I only signed 2.
Yeah, I think I only, the first couple of them only signed that.
We'll have practice later.
Well, John's just gonna pass it back this way, so. We're gonna be like, "Oh, pull back."
Sorry.
Psych. You're almost ready to have them.
He's gonna hand it to me, I'll sign the ones that I missed.
I may have missed one or two myself.
Okay, Pot.
You got that one?
I did, okay.
You didn't get this one.
You missed that one too?
Yep.
I heard that.
John's doing it. John got it, yay! All right,
Oh, and this one.
you need to sign that one.
Not as that much fun after all,
You
is
need
it?
to sign this one.
I'm taking the clean tone.
Oh,
See you later.
thank you very much.
Thank you all.
I will see you later.
Oh, I hope so.
Is that all?
I think these are good.
That is the revised contract for essay engineering project.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You just need one signature or all of us?
Just one.
Just one.
In one spot.
Yeah, make sure there's only one spot. Don't want to sign them all.
One spot. Is that those ladies again?
They're leaving.
Yeah.
They're deaf, so they don't hear me as a rule.
At least that's what they tell you.
My wife just ignores me.
Well, I think it's half of that also.
Daphne's on the agenda, so if she's leaving.
She won't be going long.
Stephanie's coming back to her agenda right now.
Okay.
And Officer Spitter is going to escort your ride home.
Oh, good. But that might take a while.
She has requested lights and sirens, so.
Lights and
If
sirens?
you have,
Did we want to open bond here?
if it's a violation
Yes.
of policy,
Oh,
then
yeah.
you can speak for them.
Okay,
Yeah, because we gotta wait a half hour for that, right?
right. We are now opening the bond hearing for the conservation warrant article.
Do we need a motion for
I
that?
don't think so. Do we want to bring conservation up to talk about it?
Bob, would you join us?
She came back.
She was coming back and the officer was leaving.
Oh, I thought,
I listened to you.
I thought one was taking one and one was taking the other.
They're going to the same location.
So Brentwood.
Did you want to do Daphne's thing really quickly then?
Sure, excuse us for one moment, Bob. Daphne,
Yes,
you're here?
can I help you?
I hope so.
I just wanted to talk about the setup for the election. The election is on March 8th. I'm not able to set up the night before because I will be at the school meeting. So we're going to set up on Sunday.
Okay,
So I was hoping that maybe the generous selectmen would
I'll
like
be
to
there.
come and help.
Somebody's getting escorted home.
I hope they got the braces.
Ankle bracelets too?
I used to handcuff her in the old days, yes.
Ken?
Too far.
Well, I carried them, so I used them.
Karen's turning blue.
You all have dirty minds.
So anyway, I was hoping that I could have the selectmen come and help us set up.
I'll be
So
there.
that we can be in and out of there on Sunday, the 6th.
I'll hold your coffee, no problem.
Okay,
What
At
time
1
are you
o'clock.
thinking?
1 o'clock. I'm thinking it would take us an hour, maybe an hour and a half, if all of us are there.
Okay, so that's 3-5.
That's 3-6.
6, I'm sorry.
If you throw up on the 5th, then you're gonna be sitting there for a while.
24 hours.
At least.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Thank you. Of course, we will be working under the supervision of her, of Joyce, the boss.
Sound like Joe.
The boss.
Thank you. Okay, ready?
Bob, it's your show.
You? Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Stevens. I'm the chair of the Conservation Commission. Mr. Chairman, the Conservation Commission has drafted and is supporting a conservation bond warrant article to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $3 million gross budget for purchasing land and or other interests therein for conservation. $3 million of such sum to be raised through bonds or notes in compliance with the Municipal Finance Act as amended, to authorize the select board to issue, negotiate, sell, and deliver said bonds and notes, to determine the rate of interest thereon and the maturity and other terms thereof, and to take any other action they deem appropriate to effectuate the sale and or issuance of said bonds or notes, subject however to the following provisions. Provision 1, no such bond shall be issued with a term of maturity less than 15 years. 2, such bonding authority shall expire at conclusion of the fiscal year 2027. 3, the purpose of warrant article is to conserve parcels determined by the Conservation Commission to be of strategic conservation interest to protect wildlife habitat and water resources, while helping to maintain the town's rural character. 4, where practicable, such land would be made available for use of the citizens of the town for recreation, that is hiking, biking, running, hunting, fishing, etc., within the laws of New Hampshire. Use restrictions may be imposed by the town, however, after purchase, to comply with future grants, easements, and or sale of property rights to permanently ease for conservation and to offset the cost to town, as long as such restrictions comply with the spirit of purpose and at the discretion of the select board. And last, land or property interests to be purchased with bond proceeds shall be acquired in the name of the town by the Conservation Commission, subject to the approval of the select board pursuant to RSA 36-A:4. That's the extent of the warrant article. This issue came to light, and the issue is that the town is without the means right now to conserve properties that might come available for conservation. The bond would not secure money except as was needed in order to purchase conservation property for conservation or for conservation easement. We have a situation here in town where some land is being developed. It's of extreme conservation value to the town strategically, and we really have no means right now, if it were available to us, which it is not, to conserve that property. In 2002, the town had a conservation warrant article for bond and secured $2 million, I believe. And that money was subsequently used in years, for about 5 years, I believe, was the extent of it. I tried to mirror for this what we had done in 2002. So, but the town had bonded or had voted to bond up to $2 million for conservation. And that money was used to secure quite a bit of property here in Brentwood for conservation, and was used as well to leverage into much, much more money. I've heard amounts in the range of $5 to $7 million of conservation from that $2 million bond. So we seem to get really good bang for our buck when we do this. A lot of money that we might use or apply for to offset the costs of the town comes from our federal government. And that money that comes from our federal government, of course, comes from taxpayers. As I've tried to point out at the budget committee hearing, I don't make those rules. And if I was in charge of making those rules, then they would look very differently. The fact is that our federal government takes that money from us, and if the only way for us to get any of it back is through programs like this. They match our funds, or we secure something and then they give us grants to ease it. So this is the only way we have to get some of that money back. It's our intent to use this strategically, not to conserve every piece of property that comes along, but to use it to secure things of strategic conservation value, habitat, aquifers. For instance, this piece of property that's proposed for development along the Exeter River here in Brentwood will irreparably change 2/3 of a mile to a mile of shoreline along the Exeter River. And it's our hope that if that project stumbles, we'll be able to use some of this money to conserve it, and if not, as other such land becomes available, we'll be able to use the money to secure those pieces. But again, this is it's not our intent to create a lot of competition, and it's not our intent to conserve every parcel that comes along. It's simply things that we feel are of key conservation importance strategically here in town. I'm happy to answer questions if anyone has them.
Any questions or comments from the board?
We have to leave the hearing open for a half hour, right?
I can talk for half an hour.
I'm sure there's some audience questions, because we have,
Any comments or questions from the audience? I can't believe it.
A comment, we were not involved when the property we now own was put into conservation, and part of that was done because of the bond that was done in '02. And so there are 3 properties along the Exeter River, ours, what was Polly McMullen's, and the Schmalzers. So it's about a mile of riverfront that was protected. And I think it's a good idea, it's beautiful land, and the water rights, it's spectacular that you can save that land.
Thank you, Trudy.
You're welcome.
That land is along the north side of the Exeter River, east of Crawley Falls Road.
Yeah.
Any other
Doug Cowie, I just wanted to point out, I was active in the town back in those days too. What this really does is it unties everybody's hands on this. When a piece of property comes up, as things are right now, there may be an interest in the selling party or the landowner, and there may be an interest in the town, but it has to wait till it goes to town meeting and you get voted in the affirmative, and then the financing takes place. If you have the bond in place, then you've got the leverage, the horsepower to sit down and put a deal together, start lining up the stuff through the land trust, the funds that are available, and you can put a package together so that nobody is left waiting or hanging, waiting for a town vote or something like that. So it just makes the process work, and that's why it worked so well before.
If I could, Mr. Chairman, that's well put. I also forgot to mention that our $3 million that we've asked for, Brentwood has land in conservation already, as was pointed out a minute ago. But this $3 million in today's dollars is much less than the $2 million was in 2002. But it's my opinion, with programs that are available and some clever use of the properties. For instance, if there's a house on the property and we want to conserve it, we can carve the house out, sell the house, use that money to offset the costs of the town. So if we're clever and we do things like that, we can make good use of this money. It may be the case that Brentwood has conservation land already, and it certainly does. It has a legacy of conservation it should be proud of. But,
Do you know how many acres we have total right now conserved?
I think, I don't, but I believe it's 16% of our, of the property in town is in conservation, 16 or 18%. So, what I was gonna say is that, because this is there was a time when, in years past, when this $2 million was offered, that Brentwood was not in the situation it is now. We didn't have as much conservation as we do now. We don't need as much money as we did back then in today's dollars. We just need enough that when strategic pieces become available, we have some to use to conserve that land.
Thank you, Bob. Any further questions, comments?
We probably should try to get the total number for town meeting.
Okay. In fact, didn't you guys do a study some time ago, the Conservation Commission?
I'm confident we have that information. I just have to find it.
All right, thank you.
Have you ever discussed that in Conservation Commission? A goal number for percentage of Brentwood to be conserved?
Yes, but there was some transition in the Conservation Commission a couple of years ago in the midst of COVID. And so we're still getting our arms around everything, but yes, it's in our goals. We have a list of goals that the Conservation Commission set, and we're working on a couple of things. One is an inventory of wetlands in town, and the other is land that would be best used for strategic conservation. There is a list, there is what I believe what you're talking about around from times past, but I think it needs to be brought up to date.
No, sorry.
And let me just finish, so as well, we need to work with the planning board on the master plan, so I don't know if they're planning to revise that sometime soon.
It's active right now,
Yeah.
a couple of chapters at a time.
Okay, so we should be involved in that and working with them on that. And that would help address your question.
But in terms of like proportionality of, so you guys have discussed it but don't have a number at the moment?
I don't know that we ever will.
That's fair.
Because the town's needs change over time, and the habitat is fluid. And things, over time, society becomes more aware of what the problems are, and they address them differently. I'll give you one example. Stream crossings have changed completely in the last 20 years. They've gone from barely crossable for wildlife, the major corridors for wildlife navigation throughout the planet, but and they can't get under some of the structures. They have to go across the road where they're in harm's way. So the state and many other states have put in bridge widening and crossing widening regulations, and that changes the way, it's going to change completely the way wildlife goes about crossing things. So things are evolving. I feel a little bit like, how many cars do you need? And the answer is, for many people, just one more than I have. So.
There's a question.
Yes?
At the Historical Society, I think it was Doug Cowie about 3 years ago, gave us a map of all the conservation land in Brentwood. It was up to date. I think we could offer, if you want to use that for any visual, to make a copy of that. It's on the wall, but I can get you there to take a photo or to borrow it to reproduce it. It's a colored map, colorful map with green and white.
RPC made that for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's right on the wall up there, but I know that map, and
If you need it.
I can blow it up. I can enlarge it.
Thank you, I feel much better.
This one is about 40 inches by, it is a big map.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Anything else on your agenda? No?
Can you tell some stories? It's been around a long time. Can
What's
you
that?
tell some stories?
I'm shocked. Yes.
We didn't tell Elle anything.
That's good, because she couldn't keep a secret. I was shocked to see her.
I used Joe to get her here. Joe's known for a couple of weeks.
Oh, I thought she was under arrest when I saw the police officer. I was hoping anyway.
She's coming with a bill.
So, nothing further? We'll take a motion to adjourn.
Can't,
No.
we're locked for 30 minutes.
No, it's just general questions.
Well,
Yes, go ahead.
Now we can do general.
okay, general questions.
Yeah, got one.
Any word on if the February newsletter's coming out?
Ready for dinner.
Have not heard. I sent an email to the editor asking when we were gonna have the folding party, but I have not heard back.
Okay.
So is this just still general questions, or are we done with the bond?
No, the bond has
the
been
bond
for a half
is
hour.
ongoing.
But you can ask a general question.
Oh, can I do a presentation?
Sure.
As long as it involves song and dance.
No, I used to be a pom-pom girl,
Oh,
but I'm no
really?
longer that. So, face the audience, or whatever, I'll stand here.
Yes.
The Historical Society applied last January for historic status for the Grange building. We received word that the state has approved it. It's now on the state historic
Hey,
register.
congratulations.
And we were getting one of the official plaques from the state to put on the building, and then another plaque with more of the history of the building. So that's thanks to a donor and the work of the volunteers in the Historical Society. So it's your building, so we now have 3 buildings in town that are on the historic register.
Which are the 3 buildings? You have this
Schmalzer
one?
House, the Schmalzer House was done years ago. If you've never been in that house, it's fascinating. The upstairs, the 2 bedrooms have a wall that swings up on hinges to make a ballroom. It was a place of a lot of town meetings because one of the selectmen lived in that building. And so that was used for public meetings. It's a fascinating house. The second one is Pilgrim Church. So this will make the 3rd.
Thank you very much for
You're
all
welcome.
of your efforts.
You're
We
welcome.
really appreciate it. Once again, any other comments? No questions?
I would like to point something else out about Concom. We have, stepped up our efforts as volunteers to do certain things. And among them is that the town eases an awful lot of property because of that 2002 bond. And we were having that property monitored, audited or monitored, people call it different things, for adherence with the conservation in terms of deed restrictions and stuff like that by outside parties. And the town was paying for that. And I think we've done almost all of it or all of it this year without any, and we're working on it. It's something we're gonna have to work on probably continuously throughout the year. But the volunteers at the Concom are now doing all of that instead of hiring it out. So,
Appreciate that.
Thank
I know
you.
It's a huge undertaking. So you guys just walk the properties periodically, right?
we have to get permission and we go and, we walk them. There are other means to do it. You can do it by photogrammetry and by drone. But I think so far we're just walking them, right, Lisa?
Sometimes it's nice to just get out there, unless it's tick season. All bets are off in tick season.
So if there are people watching this online or even here who
What do you have?
are interested in.
2 live.
You got 2.
If folks are interested,
Give me 2.
if folks are interested in conserving property, please let us know. We'd love to talk to you. We have no predispositions. We just want to discuss how we might help you conserve your property and your legacy moving forward for posterity in the town here. So.
We are 2 live, but we average anywhere between 50 to 70 viewers over the week.
Michelle?
Regarding the land, I'm not remembering the term you used, but you just talked about a bunch of land that was taken out of conservation?
Out of current use.
Current use, that was the word. So those funds that you get for that, is any of that used or saved for conservation?
Everything goes into the general fund. only the legislators at town meeting can appropriate the funds.
Which
And that's not tax dollars anyway, right? We're
No,
gonna be
it's not
taxing
tax
those?
dollars. It used to be that all of the current use funds went to the Conservation Commission, and then it was changed years ago to have that money go into the general fund, and in exchange, the selectmen keep your
$75,000.
in that extra fund.
Which properties came out of current use?
That would have been, there was one on Scramble Road, there was 23 Route 107, 25 Route 107, and Denson.
Which is Crowley Falls.
Which is Crowley Falls.
Scrabble Road must be over by the county farm where they just built three new houses.
Yep. How much time do we have before the bond issue?
We opened it at 2:17, but it's 2:47.
Good night, thank you.
Two?
Good night, Michelle.
Good night.
I guess Bob, we can ask.
Good night.
Anything more on the bridge?
Good night, Warren.
I think so,
I know Karen and I have got something, we're gonna just throw it up to you to bring us up to speed on the
yeah,
bridge.
so, the contractor's been notified, of his award, and, they'll be getting their ducks in a row. I think they have a start date of July 1st. And that, they have to start by then in order to, if their construction takes 8 weeks to get done before the school buses are affected. But we'll let them start earlier if the river flows are down, if it's not terribly wet. 2 out of the last 3 Junes have been very wet though, so.
Coming over the top today. Over the top of the dam, so.
I just thought you need more water.
No, it's just from the melting.
In the
It's
rain.
coming down.
We had a lot of rain.
Yeah, we did.
They're talking about tomorrow, 1/2 to an inch.
Yeah.
Did you have something for me?
I do not. Oh, they already signed your contract. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah,
We already signed it.
I'll send you a copy of it tomorrow.
that'd be really nice.
Did we ever pay you?
He hasn't sent us a bill yet.
Well, we can't bill you till we get that
Contract.
piece of paper.
So
We
that'll be
have,
next week.
So the answer is no.
we've invoiced previously and those have been paid,
Yeah.
but yeah, of course.
Okay. All right, Madam Timekeeper, how much time?
3 minutes?
3 minutes.
We got 3
You
minutes.
want to tell us a story?
What's that?
You want us to tell us a story?
Well, I want to thank everybody. This was quite a shock and a surprise. I had recommended a couple of people that didn't start with Ken Christensen. So they didn't take my word. It's quite an honor. I certainly am humbled. And now I have something to lord over my wife.
Are they available for the public?
It will be March 1st.
Okay.
We only had the advance copies.
Yeah, okay. They're in there somewhere.
No, honestly. I would have tripped over them already.
Did you see this page back here? That's the first town meeting. And then that's the transcription. This is the Historical Society's contribution to.
What page is that?
Mr. Swayze had requested
88.
that page being called. So you have the full effect of the whole paper.
Nice.
That's cool.
Did the conservation bond make it, or do we gotta put inserts in?
Conservation bond made it. The one insert will be the Article 14 for dispersing those capital reserve funds. And Mr. Chamberlain will be on the agenda next week to go over the warrant articles, so next week you can discuss who will speak to which article at
Oh,
town
okay.
meeting, and I'll have the minutes ready for that meeting.
All right.
Is there more meeting after this?
No.
No.
This is it?
And you'll be swearing in Chief Ventura next meeting.
Anybody who wishes to join us on Sunday, the 6th, is more than welcome at 1 o'clock.
Can the Historical Society go over there and set up for their bake sale?
Only if you help us with the booths.
Yes. I'll let Dexter know. Yes.
That is not a no.
I would like to endorse what Bob said about the Conservation Committee doing the walking of the properties. This year, my husband walked with 2 representatives, 2 volunteers, and it was more thorough and detailed than previous walks with people that we paid for. Everything from the coordinates on the map to identifying on the borders and everything, it was really well done.
This is a commercial for the ComCom.
And you guys had pizza at your meeting. You can't have members knocking down your door.
We're not even recruiting either, although if someone wants to join,
Did
I
big
think
pizza,
there's a-
you had a full board.
that's all it took.
And I stole one.
We're there. All right.
Okay.
One
Our-
last check of any comments. Let's make it official.
Yes, ma'am.
I just have a question. You guys vote, I'm Jessica Belucas, you voted on my Escalak.
Yeah, we signed it.
Yeah, should I take that and send it to the Escalak, address, or will you guys take care of that?
I'll email it to them and I'll CC you on that email.
Okay, sounds good, thank you.
Thanks. Any other questions? Last time. The board,
Motion.
Second.
Adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Everyone have a good night.
Thank you all.
All right. Thank you. I know you did that.